Hello there. My name is Danny Hillman, and for my poetry project, I chose the poem Forgetfulness by Billy Collins. Many people can relate to this poem, Forgetfulness, by simply if you've ever forgotten a phone number or walked into the kitchen and forgot what utensil you were trying to grab. But for me personally, I connect to this poem in a deeper sense. My grandfather passed away of Alzheimer's about 5 years ago, and we always used to go up to northern Michigan and visit him. And every year, we would slowly see him get worse and worse. And whether it was forgetting a family member or forgetting his children, I mean, he has 7 of them, or even in the later days in the hospital where he was walking in, he literally couldn't remember which foot would go next in front of the next because he would take a step and he wouldn't remember because motor functions are affected a lot in Alzheimer's as well. But that's why this poem really affected me, and when I read it, I almost think about him a little bit, but obviously this poem does apply to a very wide range of people. Billy Collins' poem has two prevalent elements to it that I find awesome. One of them being personification. He uses personification to describe how memories leave his head. He says, "Long ago you kissed the names of the 9 muses goodbye and watched the quadratic equation pack its bags." Now here's a perfect example. Obviously the quadratic equation cannot pack its bags and leave, although for a lot of us that did happen in high school. Another example would be, he says, "As if one by one the memories you used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a little fishing village where there are no phones." Here, memories cannot leave or retire to another hemisphere. And what I also liked about this, when he says used to harbor, ships come and go in a harbor, so I thought that was pretty cool too. The second element I'm going to talk about is the illusion he uses. He says that it has floated away down a dark mythological river whose name begins with an L as far as you can recall. Now this is not a coincidence. This river that starts with an L is actually the river called Lethe, and it is a river from Greek mythology, is one of the three, and if you drink from this river, you will actually lose your memory. So that is very ironic, which is another element technically, but it goes along with the illusion, and it is very ironic that it's a poem about forgetfulness, and he's forgetting the name of the river that you would lose your memory in, but he knows it starts with an L, so there you go. And the second illusion that I really liked was when he, like I said before, long ago you kissed the names of the 9 muses goodbye. Well, these 9 muses have a mother, and her name is Mnemosyne. Sorry, that's probably right though. And she is the goddess of memory. So all of these things have so much to do with this poem, and that's why if you read this poem at least 4 times in a row and keep reading it, you won't find something new every time, but you'll find the deeper things that are hidden inside that make the poem astounding. Forgetfulness by Billy Collins. The name of the author is the first to go, followed obediently by the title, the plot, the heartbreaking conclusion, the entire novel, which suddenly becomes one you have never read, never even heard of. As if one by one the memories you used to harbor decided to retire to the southern hemisphere of the brain, to a little fishing village where there are no phones. Long ago you kissed the names of the 9 muses goodbye and watched the quadratic equation pack its bag. And even now, as you memorize the order of the planets, something else is slipping away. A state flower, perhaps, the address of an uncle, the capital of Paraguay. Whatever it is you are struggling to remember, it is not poised on the tip of your tongue, not even lurking in some obscure corner of your spleen. It has floated away down the dark mythological river whose name begins with an L as far as you can recall, well on your way to oblivion where you will join those who have even forgotten how to swim and how to ride a bicycle. No wonder you rise in the middle of the night to look up the date of a famous battle in a book on war. No wonder the moon in the window seems to have drifted out of a love poem that you used to know by heart.